Delighted to say I'm joined by Gavin Rice from the Centre for Social Justice. Gavin, first of all, this is something, as I say, you guys have been campaigning on, I think, for the best part of a decade. It must be pretty happy today.
Yes, we're absolutely delighted. As you say, this is something that we've been campaigning on for over 10 years. The Centre for Social Justice were the original designers and architects of universal credit. The original idea was that work would always pay. Back before universal credit, someone who was on welfare but also starting to earn their own income through work could be facing a marginal benefit withdrawal rate of 90% or higher, so they were little to no better off than they were before. We said way back in those days that this should be cut to 55p, and it's really incredible to see that finally happen today.
In saying that, the idea about this is, as you say, to try and get people to work more, but for most people on universal credit, they're not going to see any change, any benefit at all. In fact, that cut to the uplift is going to have a massive impact.
Yes, that's absolutely true, and the Centre for Social Justice did support the retaining of the £20 uplift. We thought that was a proportionate and good thing to do, given that universal credit has been cut in real terms over the last 10 years, so even pre-pandemic. Plus we're seeing the rising cost of living and inflation of over 3% right now, so we were supportive of that. But I think what we have to focus on today is what has been announced, and 40% of people on universal credit are in some form of work. That proportion has gone up since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, and this will have a really positive impact on the incomes of those people.
It will indeed, but at the same time, we'll come back to this point you've alluded to about the rising cost of living, energy prices, inflation. That is going to eat away even for those people who have received quite welcome news today.
Yes, that's absolutely true, and I think this is something that the Chancellor does need to look at. But there were other things announced today. So, for instance, it was good to see the increase in the national living wage, up by 6.6%, up to £9.50 per hour for someone working an average number of hours per week. That's going to see them £1,000 better off. So, and it's also good to see the unfreezing of public sector pay as well. So there are things that the Chancellor is doing, but I absolutely agree that for that cohort of 60% on universal credit who are experiencing a real terms cut, they may be experiencing difficult things to come. OK, Gavin Rice from the Centre for Social Justice, thank you very much indeed for joining us live here in Westminster. Gloria, Liam, just one other note on the budget. He spent an awful lot of time talking about it, didn't he? 10 minutes on essentially alcohol duty changes, and I know like myself, you both kind of like a drink from time to time. Just to say what it works out at is, for a bottle of Prosecco, apparently 87p less you'll be paying in terms of tax. Aperol Spritz, also good news. But if you like your Rioja, you have to pay about 50p more tax on your average bottle of red wine. So some good news, some not so good news. Depends on your tipple, I think.